Alright, so once you have this hot glued, what you're going to do is you're going to paint it. You're going to paint it as closely to the color of your wig hair as you can. What I did for mine was, for this one, I'm going to have the wire be on the inside. So since the wire is going to be on the inside, I'm going to paint that side. You're going to paint the inside first. Once you're going to need a fair amount of paint because it is a fabric material and it is absorbent, unfortunately, so it takes a little while to paint. Once it's hardened, it will be easier to paint. But you're going to paint the inside of this, and then you're going to curl it into whatever shape you need. You can still adjust your wig drill after the faux shape is hardened and after you put the hair on it. You can still bend it a little bit, but the more even your hair drill is before you harden it, the more nicely your faux shape is going to harden around it, the more evenly it is. So I'm painting the inside right now, and I forgot to mention the way that I'm doing this, I'm not putting any hair on the inside of my drill, and that's because the drills that I'm making are kind of tight, kind of close together. You don't really see much of the inside, unlike, for example, Mommy curls from Madoka Magica. You would see the inside of that, so you might want to coat the inside in hair first. But so again, that's something that you want to keep in mind of whether or not someone is going to see the inside of your drill, or whether you want the inside of your drill to have hair on it. For mine, you don't really see the fact that it doesn't have hair on the inside because I'm painting it, and so it looks like hair of the same colors on the inside, even though there isn't. I'm now going to show you the process of making the under armature for the hair drill. This is the wig head stand I was talking about. See, it's just the PVC pipe that is rigged to stay in place. This has been extremely helpful for me making these wigs. I highly suggest that you have some type of stand to work on, because it's gonna make this a lot easier. So here we go. Okay, now that you have this nice and positioned, everything looks good, you're going to heat it up using the heat gun. A couple tips about using the heat gun. If you've never used a heat gun before, this tip gets extremely hot when you use the heat gun, so be very careful. They usually have this little stand on them, so that when you put it down, the nozzle isn't touching anything. You can also use a hairdryer, I suppose, if you want. The heat gun just works very efficiently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to heat it up. I use small circular motions when I do it. Make sure to get the outside and then also the tops and the bottoms of each section here. It is possible to overuse the heat gun. If the faux shape starts turning colors, like starts turning yellowish or brown, don't use the heat gun anymore in that area. It's done, it's hardened. When the faux shape is hardened to its optimal state, it will have almost kind of like a sponge-like texture on the outside. as you can see, it gets a little, or I don't know if you can really see it here. It looks almost a little bit porous, and you'll see it starts to shrink. So fast shape shrinks a little bit when you heat it up. So keep that in mind when you're cutting out the shape for your hair gel. You may want it to be like about 1/8 of an inch bigger on each side than you want it to be. It doesn't shrink that much, but just a little bit. So here we go.
A to Z.
Okay, so your armature is hardened down. Ta-da! What you're going to do next is you are going to paint this, which I'm going to skip recording because, again, it is simple. You just take some acrylic paint, water it down a little, just paint the outside, and when we're done, you should have something that looks like this. Alright, so ready? This is the long and tedious part. Long and tedious? Did I say long and tedious? I meant fun. This is the really fun part. Get your silicone and your caulk gun. You cut off the tip of the silicone and you stick it in the gun like so, and just squeeze it and you're ready to go. I have my scissors, I have my comb, I have my extensions. This is an Epic cosplay wig. I think it's in light blonde or platinum blonde. I highly recommend Epic cosplay wigs for doing projects like this. The heat-resistant Kenkalon fibers are really good for this particular project, and the hair is always very smooth and easy to brush. It's usually pretty thick when you get it. The wigs they have there are nice and thick. So when you are adding your hair, I would suggest starting at the top and working your way down. For several reasons. If you start at the bottom and work your way up, aside from the fact that that's just kind of awkward, when the hair hangs down, it's more likely to stick to the sides, and that can get a little bit messy, whereas if you work your way down, there isn't really much silicone down here, so it is less likely to get messed up. The way that I do this and the way that I suggest that you do this is in thin sections, maybe like 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch of hair. And I'm going to show you why. So this is the first hair drill that I made. Don't judge me. And what I did for this one is I laid it flat and I put like one big strip of hair down it with the silicone, and then I curled it up, and as you can see, it's kind of messy. The hairs aren't very straight or smooth or even, and it was very quick, but if you compare it to like this hair drill that I'm working on right now, you can see that the hair that I applied looks a lot smoother. It has a much cleaner appearance compared to this. So the more time that you spend putting on the hairs nicely and smoothly, the better your hair drill is going to come out. Alright, so here's the strand of hair I have right now. This one's a bit on the thinner side. I'm just going to start at the top and show you how to use it. What I've been doing lately is I do kind of a thicker strip for the middle, and then I do a thinner strip up top and a thinner strip at the bottom, and because it tapers, and so you don't need a thick strip going all the way up. So the thick strip I start maybe around here. But anyway, again, this is up to you depending on your project and your project's personal needs. So you're going to take your caulk gun and you're going to kind of pretend like you're icing a cake. You don't have to do it all the way down. In fact, I would suggest not doing it all the way down. I usually do it about one curl at a time. So it starts here and it goes around like once. And I find that's pretty good. At the top I may do it a little more. It's helpful to have a little dish of water on the side to rinse out your brush so it doesn't get lots of silicone stuck in it. But so here I'm going to just use the brush to smooth out the silicone. Kind of spread it around so it's not super clumpy. Don't be afraid of the silicone though. The silicone, the more kind of saturated that you have the hair, the better it's going to stick. You don't want big white clumps on your hair, but it's okay to be a little generous with it. You can always wipe off the excess. The wonderful thing about silicone is that it has a pretty long working time, so you don't have to rush and quickly get this on or else it'll harden, you know. So relax, take your time, and have fun with it. Experiment a little bit. What I usually do for the first piece that I add on, whenever I add on a new bit of hair, is I add a tiny bit of caulk to the tip, and then I put down some type of surface like a plastic bag. I do this so that when I put it on the hair drill, the hairs don't start pulling apart right away. This helps keep them together a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start at the very tip here. We're just gonna gently lay it on, maybe about 1 to 3 inches at a time, depending on how wide the curl is at that point. Just get a little bit of extra silicone on your brush and paint it down like so. If the hair starts getting knotted or tangled at all, you can take your comb. I would suggest holding this down with your finger or something so it doesn't pull the hairs out, and just comb it out to make the hair a little neater when you put it on. Here I'm using this end of the comb to kind of hold this hair back while I'm pulling it around, because around the edges it can tend to pull a bit. I'm not sure if you can really see it that well. It's this lighting, I'm sorry.